everyone, welcome again back to SOS COVID Marketing Series. I'm here with Scott Ayers and he's representing AgriPulse, which is a social media brand, and he's going to share with us some tips on Facebook ads and how to market your Facebook ads during COVID-19.
Yeah, hey, as she said, I am Scott Ayers. I am the content scientist for the Social Media Lab, which is powered by Agora Pulse. My job is to bust the myths, the rumors, and the stories of social media marketing with data and science. And we go through the whole scientific process. I wear a goofy wig. We have a lot of fun. But our data we look at, we hope you can take it back as a social media manager and apply it to your business.
Okay, so why is it important, or should brands still be using Facebook ads during this time?
Yeah, I think some brands should continue to run their ads. It's going to depend on what your product is, obviously. I think right now we're seeing super cheap CPCs and CPM on Facebook specifically, but we don't know what the conversions are looking like for a lot of the things. So I think there's a lot of brands who continue to do it. You're seeing some of the big huge brands stop right now because it seems insensitive, which is a good time for you to test. Especially if you have a small budget. The inventory is really cheap right now. So it's a good time to kind of test things out on Facebook and even on Instagram. I've tested on Reddit. Reddit's really active right now. So there's a lot of places you can put your ads. So yes, I do think some brands should continue, but you're definitely going to have to change up how you advertise and what you're advertising. Like I wouldn't recommend putting any ads out there that have a lot of humans in groups. A lot of people around each other, high-fiving or at concerts or those kind of things, because we can't do that right now. So you want to probably show individuals. You want to maybe focus on families, focus on kids in your ads as far as the images are concerned. But just be smart with what you're showing, because you don't want that negative comments on those ads, because it makes the ad performance drop tremendously if you have the wrong sort of vibe going on.
So you touched a little bit on ads that we should run and ads that we shouldn't run, and now's the perfect time to start running Facebook ads. What are some best practices that business owners can actually try? Can you expand a little bit more on that?
Yeah, I think you need to evaluate your ad copy and what it says, how it's saying, is it being sensitive to the situation. Now, I do think you shouldn't leverage this, this tragedy that's occurred, and try to take advantage of people's emotions. I'm seeing a lot of ads right now for face mask and for coronavirus related t-shirts and things like that. And some of us, will purchase those, but there's some, if you're somebody who's got a family member who's passed away from this, man, that's got to be the worst thing they're seeing in their news feed right now. So while those products, it's probably tempting for people to create those, the Shopify accounts and start advertising funny t-shirts and things like that, it may be a bad time to do that. I think that's insensitive and will hurt your brand in the long run. So I think worry about your ad copy. Look at your placement. I think the best placements typically are on the news feed on Facebook and on the news feed on what I call the news feed on Instagram. Sidebar ads do okay, but everybody knows their ads. Where sometimes in the news feed it's not as much. But at the same time, if you're targeting an area, let's say New York area, for example, which in the U.S. has kind of had the most cases that we've seen so far. If they're looking at Facebook, they're trying to keep up what's going on with their family, their friends, and here's your ad right in the middle of their news feed. That may not come across very well. And so I would kind of, if I'm in those areas, I probably pause all my ads for now and wait. But I think you got to look at the ad copy, look at how you're targeting it. Maybe if you've got a really good ad running right now, pause it and then duplicate it. Don't turn it off. Don't edit it, because you know how Facebook ads work. It learns over time what converts and what audience converts. But maybe just pause it, duplicate it, and tweak that ad, and targeting something different or a different region or segment where you're not targeting those regions that have been hit really hard. That way you don't come across as insensitive.
Okay, so first off, review any ad copy or make sure that our ad copy is adjusted to the situation. We should also be aware of where we're placing our ads, and we shouldn't create ads or promote products that are kind of taking advantage of the crisis that's happening right now. What are some things that you see brands that are doing that are actually doing very well, and they are bringing in clicks, incomes, and they're not just advertising during a crisis, but they're helping to reach out to their customers? What are some ad examples that you've seen?
I think there's a lot of creative restaurants, especially here in Texas where I'm at, because we can do to go and we can do delivery. And so we're seeing a lot of restaurants because restaurants are struggling. I got a lot of friends who are having to close down restaurants because they have no business right now. And so they're trying their best to do creative things with to go. And so I think you should run those ads. Talk about how you're partnered with a different delivery service, and maybe you're giving back part of your income to hospital workers. We have a local pizza place here who's supplying pizza for our nurses for free. He should advertise that and let people know. Yeah, it's a little bit bragging, but it's great PR, and you're not selling anything. You're just selling the feeling and the emotion and the awareness. And I think right now is an awareness time. So even for us, so for the lab, I post blog posts and podcasts. I'm not looking for leads right now. I just want to get awareness. So I don't have a problem running an ad to my blog because I'm not selling anything hard. I'm not pushing people to buy from me. I just want to get some awareness out there, drive some traffic to the website, kind of keep that funnel, the top of the funnel filled a little bit. That way later on, I have a chance to kind of retarget those individuals who kind of come over to my website. But I think the restaurants who are struggling, but I think they could run a lot of ads like that. I think hardware stores have done some good stuff as far as showing people, you know, especially in the US, we got stimulus checks that just hit. So people are doing home improvement. Yeah, if you're a home improvement place, probably advertise. It's probably going to be okay to do that. But again, keep the copy sensitive to the situation, and target those people specifically in your area. Don't just target everyone.
Okay, I heard that you talked about restaurants, hardware stores, and a couple of products, couple of brands that can offer delivery. But what if I have an e-commerce store and I have a skincare brands that I'm
Mm.
actually selling? How do I go about selling skincare brands or products that have to touch your face or even fashion items without seeming completely inconsiderate? What are some best practices with Facebook ads I could try?
I would probably put those ads primarily on Instagram if it were me, because the target there and the Instagram buyers tend to buy stuff quicker than they do on Facebook. I know Jennifer Watson, who's our social media manager. She spends way too much money on Instagram every day. She tells us all the time because it's the Shopify ads are so appealing and they're targeted towards her. So yeah, I would probably maybe target those towards females in a certain age group on Instagram. And I wouldn't show them maybe application. Yeah, in that I wouldn't show people touching their faces, but just talk about how it makes you feel good. What's the experience of your product? And that's really what I think all ads should be that way. But what's the benefit? Why should I buy this? What's this going to do for me? So if it's a skincare product, it makes you feel, whole. It makes you feel complete. It makes you feel more, never say normal. And so I think self care would be a good term to probably use in that market. But again, I think, yeah, I don't know that I want to show people touching their faces unless they're in their own home. It's very, obvious that they're sitting in front of their mirror, in their bathroom, putting on their makeup because, out and about. I don't think I'd do any ads probably out and about at this point. But yeah, I think at home, self-care, I think would probably do pretty well. Now I want to go advertise some skincare products.
Okay, so it's affirmative that we should be creating Facebook ads that reflect the new normal of people staying in their homes and not being outside. And if we're doing skincare or any beauty brands or brands that have to do with touching your face or skin, we should be sure that if we have a person, they should be at home, safe, or in their bathroom. And we should also reflect the experience that we want customers to have. Okay, and I want to touch a little bit about ad budget. Before, when we started, you spoke about how Facebook ads are actually cheaper than ever before. Now, if I'm a small business and I'm particularly new to Facebook ads, what determines my ad budget that I should use in order for me to start getting some traction?
That's a great question. I think it depends on your product for one. Depends on what your sort of profit is. So, if you can put in $1 and make two, that's pretty good. But maybe if you put in $1, you make $1.25, and that's good for you too. So you got to judge that. What's your best return? I think if you're a small local business and you've never run Facebook ads before, I mean, start out just boosting a post. Boosting posts are so simple on your Facebook page. Boost it for say $100, target it in your local area by the demographics that appeal to your product, whatever that might be, and then kind of see what you get from that. See what kind of interaction you get. See if you get any conversions from it. But start small, and then kind of get into Ads Manager. If you've never done Ads Manager, hop into Ads Manager. Ads Manager is actually a lot simpler now, I think, than it was years before. You can run split tests. You can select the placements. that you want for the ad. You do have to make sure you take your time and walk through it. But I think the first step is always for me. I always recommend people. There's a lot of people who don't like that boost button in social media marketing. I love it, especially for small businesses, because super simple, super easy. You can say, all right, I'm gonna spend $1 a day. Surely your business can spend $1 a day. So you boost that post for $1 a day for 30 days and see what it does for you, and then evaluate that after the fact.
Okay, what's the difference between boosting my post and having a Facebook ad campaign?
In my opinion, there's not a big difference. It's just the Facebook Ads Manager is going to give you a lot more ways to granularly target it, where you can go in and target, in article ads, you can target messenger ads, you can target mobile versus desktop. When you boost, you typically are just going to be able to target a certain audience, either people who already like your page or as a lookalike audience, and then on region. So you have less targeting options, although there's a lot of targeting options. Now, if you click that boost button, you're going to be able to target a lot more than you used to be able to, but not as much as you could in Facebook Ads Manager. But the cool thing is that ad does show up in Ads Manager. You can go look at it later. So it is. There's a little bit less to it, but I do think for those who never run ads, and a lot of people right now are trying to figure out ads because they've never run before and they realize they need to. I think that boost button is a good start, and then you want to go in advance a little bit more. So you're going to get cheaper clicks typically when you do things through Ads Manager because it's smart, it learns and figures out what market and what audience to target. So that's kind of the main difference that I see. I use the boost button all the time.
So if I'm not a Facebook marketing expert, I'm a business owner, I can start off by boosting my posts. The only big difference or thing I'd probably miss out is just placement, but I can take my time to learn and then I can move over to Facebook Ad Manager. So I don't need to rush. I can take my time and learn from boosting posts. Okay. And what are we spoke about marketing during Corona, but what are some marketing or Facebook marketing tips that you'd say after? Because it's going to be different. Not everyone's going to be home. What are some practices that business owners should probably prepare for after?
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting. Our new normal, we don't know how long our new normal will last or what it's going to look like. But a lot of your retargeting, you usually have at least up to like 180 days. You can kind of retarget people who've touched your ads. And so you're going to have time to kind of come back to, don't forget about those audiences. That's for one. Make sure you retarget people who've interacted with your business, with your website, and then your ads. But I do think you have to be slow in it. Maybe once if your area has opened back up and, you're allowed to go back to restaurants and stores, then I think you can start to ramp it back up a little bit to where you were before. But again, still kind of keep in mind those regions who have been hit the most, and consider the language. I think the language is going to have to be considered for quite a while. You might, let's say you are a restaurant and you haven't had a dining room open now for like 2 or 3 months. Yeah, run an ad. Let everybody know you're open once you are open, and show them your restaurant. Show them what it looks like. Remind them how good your food is. Remind them of your service, smiling faces. Don't focus on the negative. And I think at some point, once we get into the summer months, I don't think you need to talk about it anymore in ads, especially. Just start to make everybody feel normal, because we all want to feel normal again. And I think if you run the wrong kind of ads, 3-4 months later, it's just you're sticking that reminder of that horrible time back in people's heads. So at some point, go back to normal. But for now, get people to be aware that you're here, you're there for them, you're dealing with this too, and then be ready to start targeting that audience again once you're back and you're open again.
What's one tip that you would leave business owners with that you think is very important? Out of everything you've told us today, what's one thing that we should definitely leave with going forward?
I would just say don't give up. Everything's going to come back to some sort of new normal down the road. It's not going to be the same. You probably are not going to see the same sort of ROIs you were seeing before. You're probably not going to see the same sort of revenue before. So you got to kind of decide what's more important. A lot of times in the past, you would probably do, maybe 80% of your ad budget was testing, 20% was the stuff you knew was really, really good. Now you might want to flip that around. Run your 80% of your ad budget towards the stuff is converting well, and only test 20% of your ad budget, because you don't want to risk it as much, because every penny is going to count once you're with your ads moving forward. And they always should, but I think a lot of marketers are realizing now that maybe we shouldn't be blowing it as much and as fast on things that we're just testing, but work on those things that are that are converting the most for you is what I would think.
Okay, awesome. And where can we find you? Let's say we want more help with Facebook ads. Where can we find you?
Yeah, look for my orange hair. Now, you can go over to agorapulselab.com. That'll take you right over to the social media lab where you can see all the blog posts we've done, listen to our podcast. You can search anywhere for Agora Pulse Lab on social media. You'll find us. And also agorapulse.com is where you can check out our tool, look at our blog and all the free tools that we have over there as well.
Awesome. And there you have it, guys. All of this Facebook ad goal from Scott. And thank you, Scott, for joining us for the SOS Marketing Series. We'll see you guys next week, Thursday and Friday.